St. Kitts and Nevis passport is not for sale. The Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis, Dr. Terence Drew, is moving forward with changes in the Citizenship by Investment program. So, what is this going to mean for St. Kitts and Nevis going forward? Let's talk about it. So on March 6, I did a program on Carib 21 talking about Citizenship by Investment program and the 6 Caribbean islands that are part of this program and that they could face a Donald Trump ban. That video now is over 500,000 views. And at the time, I remember putting out that video and I got a lot of pushback saying that this is fake news, you don't know what you're talking about. This is not about the Citizenship by Investment program. This is about the Cuban medical program. This is about other things. And I knew, because this is something that I've been following for over 2 years with the European Union. So as soon as those 6 islands were listed, I knew that this could not be anything other than the Citizenship by Investment program. The fact that Jamaica, Trinidad, Barbados was not mentioned in that travel ban, I knew at the time it was the Citizenship by Investment program. So fast forward, and now we see the different prime ministers in the Eastern Caribbean islands shuffling to fix their program. So today I want to talk about St. Kitts and Nevis. So when you talk about St. Kitts and Nevis, and it's something I've been talking about for a while, and talking about the purchasing of passport. And when we talk about the purchasing of passport, a lot of people in the Eastern Caribbean, in particular the islands that are part of this program like St. Lucia, St. Kitts and Nevis, Dominica, people would look at it and say like that is, you're taking a slight at them like, look, we are not selling passport. Citizenship by Investment program is not the sale of the passport for St. Kitts and Nevis or St. Lucia. But when you look at what the European Union is asking, what the United Kingdom government is asking for St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Lucia and the EC Islands to do, you would realize that, look, they see this as a sale of passport. The British government and the American government, it was obvious that they have a problem with this program. And they have been asking the leaders in these Caribbean islands to make adjustment to the program for over 2 years. As I said, I've heard this news in European media for about 2 years. So this is not something new that Donald Trump started. This is an ongoing debate between the Eastern Caribbean islands and what they would see as their sovereignty, and not allowing the European Union or the United Kingdom to tell them how to run their program. But the reality is, what we have to look into also, why are these passports in such a high demand? That is the thing that we have to look at. And when you hear the conversation from some of the leaders in the Caribbean, in particular Gaston Brown, the conversation was really disingenuous, trying to compare the Citizenship by Investment program in Antigua, Barbuda, St. Kitts and Nevis to other programs like what's happening in Canada and in Europe also. But the reality is it's different. It's completely different. The fact that you can go through the process and get the passport from the Eastern Caribbean island without setting a foot in the Caribbean, that should tell you something. When you take part in the program, like for example, the program in Canada, you have to be in the country. You have to be a resident in Canada in order to obtain a Canadian passport. And no matter how much money you think you have or how much money you're going to pay, you have to be a resident and you have to be in the country for a certain period of time within 5 years in order to qualify for a Canadian passport. So some of the pushback was really disingenuous. And as I said, in particular, the Prime Minister of Antigua Barbuda was one of the loudest leaders in the Eastern Caribbean defending this program. And when the Trump administration released their list of things that they wanted to fix on this program, I pointed out at the time that, look, residency is the most important thing. And right now, if I'm in Canada right now and I would leave Canada for like 6 months, 8 months, up to 1 year, that would disqualify me from attaining a Canadian passport because of the time that I'm out of the country in a particular time period. So this is not something new. And even when you talk to Canadians, like immigrants, people that migrate from the Caribbean. They come to Canada, they go to America, they go to the United Kingdom. If you're not careful, you can lose your citizenship. You can lose your passport by being out of the country for too long. So the fact that someone can purchase a passport online, as I said, without setting foot in the country, and there's no timeline that they have to be living in the country as a resident, that is pretty much the sale of passport. And this is unfortunate that it came to this, because as I said, this has been 2 years they have been warned. And I don't know if it's going to be too late. As I said, the Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis is working with the Trump administration, working with the European Union to solve this issue. So hopefully it's not too late, because it would be very, very unfortunate if in St. Kitts and Nevis, all of a sudden they need a passport, a visa to go everywhere. And trust me, as a Jamaican, I can tell you, like, everywhere you're traveling, you're going to Europe, you're going to most places in the world you're going, you need a visa. And so that is one of the privilege that the Eastern Caribbean have had for like decades, having a passport that they can just jump on the plane, not needing to get a visa to go all over Europe. So hopefully it's not too late. And this news about the government of St. Kitts and Nevis working with the Trump administration and the European Union to try and fix this problem. This is something that's been out there for a while now, but it's something that I've been holding back from talking about, because every time I talk about it, even when you're getting report from the New York Times and from all of these reputable outlets in America, people would come in the comment section and say like, look, you're spreading fake news. But a subscriber of mine sent me a video, and this video was so amazing. And what is so amazing about this video is the gentleman in the video. The gentleman in the video is from one of those agencies who help people to acquire passport through the Citizenship By Investment program. So this is an expert that has been doing this for a long time, and this is what he does for his 9 to 5, and he's explaining what is going on with the Citizenship By Investment program in the Caribbean, the Trump administration, and the European Union. So this was perfect to react to, because what I thought is that if you can't believe me, if people are going to say like, oh, that is fake news, this is coming from the source itself, from someone that does this on a day-to-day basis. So maybe people who are continuing saying that this is fake news, maybe they will hear from this gentleman, maybe they will finally believe that this is something that's been going on for a while, and this is not something new that, as I said, the Trump administration is just pulling out of a hat. So this gentleman is from an organization called Citizenship Quickly, and just take a look how he break down what is going on in the Caribbean between St. Kitts and Nevis, Antigua, Barbuda, and some of the risk that some of these Caribbean islands could face.
Now, St. Kitts announces a Citizenship By Investment residency clause as Dominica breaks silence on U.S. travel ban. What's going to happen is St. Kitts now is going to require a residency period before you get the passport. Now, this just came out in ZIZ yesterday. Now, one thing that you're going to have to, and also Emmy had also mentioned something on this, but two things that they didn't mention here, and that is the time period of the residency. I don't even think they've come up with that yet. And the applications that are already in the process that have been turned in, are those people are going to be required also to actually, go through this residency period before they can get the citizenship or passport. I assume that they would be grandfathered if the apps are in now. Probably if you're getting ready to turn the apps in, if you let us know ahead of time, we can check for you. If you're a client of ours right now, we can go ahead and check on that for you to find out if they're going to take that. So, but more than likely, new people coming in, they're not going to take any more apps, I would assume. And also, if you have your paperwork in now, we'll just have to check and find out if they will accept that. And they might have a cutoff time, and it could have been a month ago. Who knows? But as soon as we find out something, we'll let you know. Now, this is how it's going to work. Now, Prime Ministers Terence True of St. Kitts and Nevis and Roosevelt Skerritt of Dominica have both responded to reports of potential U.S. travel restrictions by promising major reforms to their Citizenship by Investment programs. Now, Drew announced mandatory and residency requirements for the Citizenship by Investment program, while Skerritt broke his government silence with pledges of new legislation within days. They're really concerned because, they lost their visa-free status to the UK a while back, and they definitely don't want to screw this up again. And remember, I just did a video. I put it out today, but this just came out, so I thought it was important that you need to learn this right away. And that video was done before all this came out. So, and the other video was talking about the EU now is doing what the US wants to do, and that is they want to look at the whole Citizenship by Investment program. And what they're doing is pretty much, it's you can look at the other video I just put out today. They're basically stating that if a fast track program exists, they will probably not only not issue a visa, they will probably or make it not. They might not make it where you can get visa-free travel, okay? But they might just turn the visa down totally if you're from that country, from that fast track program. In other words, you got a passport from whatever that country is. So I think you're going to see all the fast track programs fold in on this. Antigua says they won't do it for now. This is the problem, okay? And we do Antigua, we do also St. Kitts, okay? I'm not favoring any particular country because we do both of those. But if you get an Antigua passport and they don't comply with this, you could have a monster of a problem getting visas going to Europe. In fact, they would end up caving in because the citizens of Antigua would not put up with it. It would be too much. It would be too much stress losing all those visa-free countries to Europe. So what you're going to see is all of the fast-track programs are going to end up caving in on this, okay? St. Kitts is just the first one that I've seen that's stated that they're going to do it. They just haven't mentioned what that residency period is going to be yet. To legally get your income taxes to zero or how to get a second passport as quick as anywhere from 4 months to a year, get with us at www.citizenshipquickly.com and just ask for some help. Although for right now, I don't even know if we can still do it in 4 months to a year because more than likely they're not going to take new apps. I'll let you know as soon as I find out something, just letting you know right now because I don't know, okay? And I'll let you know as we find out. But again, both leaders confirmed that their governments have received no official communication from Washington regarding a State Department memo suggesting travel bans in 36 countries. I just did a video on that, okay? And now the coordinated response follows weekend discussions among regional leaders with Citizenship by Investment programs who agreed on uniform reforms to address U.S. concerns about investment migration programs. Now, St. Kitts now is introducing, again, the Citizenship by Investment residency requirements. Now, Dr. Drew, which also Prime Minister Drew, announced the most substantial policy change affecting Caribbean Citizenship by Investment programs, confirming that St. Kitts will require residency for all future applicants. Now, and that's telling me that if you turn in an application now, you will have that residency requirement. But again, I don't know what that period is going to be yet. A residency clause will be part of the new law. Now, Drew emphasized during ZIZ radio interview, he stated that, let me say that clearly residency clause and the biometrics, those will be part of the new law, which is to pass very, very soon, within a few weeks. The residency requirement represents a fundamental shift for Caribbean Citizenship by Investment programs, with the exception of Antigua and Barbuda, which have historically attracted international investors precisely because they offered citizenship without relocation obligations. Well, we'll see what happens here. But I'm telling you, if you jump in real quick with Antigua, and Antigua does not follow these rules, and they lose all the visa-free travel to Europe, you're going to have a junky passport. And you're also going to have to decide, are you willing to reside in another country for a certain period of time? That's another thing you're going to have to look at. Now, the leaked U.S. memo explicitly cited the availability of citizenship by monetary investment without requirement of residency as grounds for potential restrictions.